Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and as I am every Sunday, I have been for every Sunday for 8 years. I'm Charlie Butler, and
do you anticipate one of these Sundays not being Charlie Butler?
I don't know. I mean, I keep introducing myself like nobody's ever heard of me, but I know they have. Mm-hmm. I actually get a lot of people. Of course, I advertise on your show too.
You sponsor the weather.
I sponsor the weather.
Yeah, every hour.
Yeah, every hour.
You and Gary LaVox.
Yep. I've heard you've tried to take me off, but, they won't let you.
You keep spending money with this. They're going to keep taking it.
And those weather sponsorships, you wouldn't believe. It's rarely a day goes by that I don't hear. I was in the bank the other day in an Old National branch, and the girl started singing the Gary LaVox commercial back to me.
It's infectious.
Yeah, I guess so. And that's about the third or fourth time I've had that happen where they just sing the whole commercial back.
Yeah, and that's the important part. It's got your website.
Yeah.
How could you not remember your website?
Yeah.
CharlieButlerTeam.com.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Gary sounds better than that.
Much better, yeah.
I do know Gary's son, but I saw him in French Lick, and one of your coworkers, Travis.
Yeah, got to get up on stage and sing with him.
He did sing with him.
Yeah, pretty cool moment.
And Travis, I thought, did a good job. But I did know when Gary got a little more serious, kind of pushed Travis to the side.
Yeah, all right, you're done, fella. Yeah. It's back to the real show. Yeah.
So anyway, Bobby, we're in the second week of baseball season now.
Yeah.
And since we're taping, we don't know what's happened.
I have an idea. If we were talking in real time, what we'd be saying.
The Cubs will be in first place. They always are early.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Yeah.
No matter how bad it winds up for them, they usually are until June. Now, I think they'll be better than that because I think our division will be down.
I do too.
I mean, I know people are talking about the Brewers, but I think the Brewers are down.
I think so too. I think the Reds, you have to keep an eye on the Reds. They've got some young studs on that team. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a strange move that they traded Devin Williams away for the Brewers, that stud closer they had.
Yeah.
They traded him to the Yankees for Nestor Cortez to get starting pitching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the way baseball's played today, the bullpen is as important as a starter because you got so many 5-inning starters now.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, as Bobby always says, go Cardinals.
I just can't say where I want them to go.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Straight in the Ohio.
Again, as we are every week for several years, the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bossy Title. Go to their website, bossytitle.com. All kinds of great information there. But, the difference with them and many other, I mean, there are several good title companies out there, but everybody can do a search, as long as nothing goes wrong, it really doesn't make any difference. And, but when something goes wrong, that's where I've seen Bossy heads and shoulders above many of the others. And, they've got an attorney there on staff, Susan Vollmer, who does a great job. Top-notch closers, Claire Kincaid, Kelly Norton, others who I know I'm forgetting about, and I will never learn, will I, Bobby, not start getting into names. You guys always tell me that. Candace is on me all the time, but she's not here to keep me in line, so, I'm doing it again. And I'm forgetting a big part of Jeff Bossy's staff, and Jeff himself does a good job. We don't know what Jeff does, but we hear he does a good job at it. So call him today, and you also, if you go out there, you get to see Norman Phil. In fact, I think they've got their own Instagram. So it's I know Bossy's social media people have worked on things, Facebook pages, Instagram for Norman. Norman's a French bulldog, but he's quite a star in the local real estate community. So anyway, bossytitle.com. Be sure to go see him for your title needs. Also, Charlie Butler team. If we can't sell your home, we'll buy it. We'll have you an offer within 48 hours. Usually, now I never want to mislead people. In fact, we're going to try to get retail out of your house if we list it. Now, if we buy it, we're going to buy it more wholesale. I mean, not, I know people have offered, 50 cents on the dollar. We're going to do better than that. If your house is in reasonable condition, you're going to do considerably better than that. So we've got investors that will make cash offers, make them where they close as soon as Bossy gets the title work done. They close. So anyway, call us today about that, and that's probably something to call me about because I'll get involved directly in that. Is 812-499-7758, and you could also. This is a great time to list your home. We say this every week, but it is. There's not yet people that are getting into the spring market that much. So you've got less competition right now. There are a lot of buyers out there. We just listed a home Friday over I think it was a $5,000 full price offer we accepted. So we had one that we listed Friday that's on Sunday we sold, and people bought sight unseen and signed the sight unseen addendum. But anyway. Well, I bet it's easy to edit me. I got so many uhs in there, don't I?
Yeah.
When you need extra time.
If I need to shave some time, I just
you just listen to me for a while, and I got all those uhs in there.
Yep. If you got paid per you could retire.
I know.
Next week.
Yeah, always. But now I'm conscious of it.
You brought it up. I wasn't going to say anything.
I shouldn't have. So. But with our listings, we have the easy exit listing. So if you're unhappy with our services at any time, or actually it's in there, if we're unhappy with you, either one of us can part ways. It's rarely used, but if you want out, we let you out immediately. And there's also the Love It or Leave It program where someone buys a house in the first year and they don't like that house, we will sell that house for free as long as we sold the house to you. So anyway, call the Charlie Butler team. The team line is there's a lot of great agents there, and I'm not going to make the mistake of my own team forgetting somebody. So I can do that for somebody else's team. 812-430-1708. Or call me directly at 812-499-7758. But today, we've got, for those that weren't listening last week, great show last week with ServPro. And we've got Fred Emory with us, who is the local marketing representative. And am I correct there, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Dustin Chaney, who has got an empire here, apparently.
I don't know if I can call it that. But.
Well, it's something, okay. So, Dustin, for those that weren't listening last week, tell a little bit about what ServPro does.
So, ServPro does fire, water, mold remediation, reconstruction services, and also just different types of spring cleaning activities for homes, everything from carpet cleaning to ductwork cleaning, and just a little bit of everything in between. Also, biohazard cleanup, and even in hoarding situations and things like that. So all of those services, and others too.
And Justin, what is one where you guys do where people say, well, I didn't know you did that?
Ductwork is one of those, a lot of times, especially like dryer vent ductwork too.
Yeah, talk about dryer vents. We talked about regular ductwork cleaning, like, last week, but I don't think we got into dryer vents though.
Right. So dryer vents, it's one of the leading causes for fires in a home. A lot of times people just don't think about it, but as the lint builds up in there, obviously becomes more of a fire hazard over time. Just something that kind of gets forgotten. But we can come in and clean the lint out from that in order to make sure that you're at less of a fire risk for your home. Just something that kind of gets forgotten.
Right. Go ahead, Fred.
And Charlie, another thing that I get a lot of asks on through the course of a month is you think about we've had tornadoes come through this year. We've had some really heavy windstorms. So a lot of folks do not realize that we're a source that if a horrible storm comes through, God forbid, and there's a tree that lands on the roof of their house or part of their dwelling, that ServPro is a source to assist with the removal of that tree, provide a tarp for the roof, and then get a trained crew in to start water mitigation in very short order.
Okay. Well, Fred, that brings up a good question. I hate to give me credit, but Bobby actually thought of this. First idea I think he's had in 8 years, but I pretty well carry him.
I try to make them count whenever I do that.
Is Fred? I know you do a lot of lunch and learns for realtors, insurance companies, and various groups. What are some questions that you normally? First off, you might tell them how they can get a lunch and learn with you, and what are some questions you normally get from those?
Sure. To get a lunch and learn scheduled for me to come and address a group is really simple. Calling my cell phone number, the 812-550-7016. Realtors who know me in the area know that I'm a phone call away, so call me there, email me. I just need to look at schedules and match it up at a time that's convenient for the group. But I do a fair amount through the course of a month, and I love to do them. And mainly, the main goal is the way we do lunch and learns. It's not so much a salesy kind of presentation. It's more of just providing to a real estate group or other groups how they can get emergency services if needed, and different variable capabilities that ServPro has that many folks wouldn't even know that we offer, such as the ductwork cleaning that we mentioned and the being able to do tree removal and roof tarping. Things of that nature are things that I cover that almost always the real estate group at the end of the presentation will say, Fred, I had no idea that we could tap you for those kind of capabilities and resources.
Yeah. Is there one in particular that you think you get, or are there questions that you get that, what are some, well, I guess that's it, but just what are some questions you normally get that people may not think of in a day-to-day thing?
I'd say one of the biggest thing that is a recurring question from a real estate professional in particular is they're concerned about smells or odors in the house. That's something that comes up a lot. And strangely, only to me, is that I've had several calls over the last year on realtors that have inherited a hoarding situation where they need labor.
So have I, actually.
Where they need labor resources to pack out contents and help separate those items, salvage what's good, haul off what is not, clean anything that can be reused, deodorize and clean up sometimes in areas that are left fairly nasty and unpleasant. All of those things that I mentioned are services and capabilities that a ServPro technician is trained to deal with and take care of.
Yeah, it wasn't a hoarding situation. It made me think of foreclosure. One of the early ones I did over 20 some years ago. I didn't realize that the bank just wanted everything gone. They didn't care. I go at very nice house that we sold out on the north side. People had left a John Deere Rider. I mean, looked like new. They left this popcorn machine, all kinds of neat stuff. Well, I I thought, I can't take that. I'm going to say, whoever trashed that out, which had they did well. They didn't have to charge me. They got that John Deere rider out of that. So the big tractor type, you can mow a lot. But anyway, Fred, I take it when you do a lunch and learn. I can remember one I went to once for a mold company. I will never forget this, even though it's been years ago. And they got into all this technical stuff, about how mold, basically, it's almost like I thought mold was mating, and we got into that stuff. I take it you don't, you try to get stuff that's a little more practical for people.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, fortunately, being local and knowing the area and having a lot of friends in real estate, I have some kind of a sense how the agency is put together and the personalities. So I can usually gear the presentation, but by and large, you're exactly right. I typically, in a lunch and learn, do not do much deep dive into the technical aspect of the business, but I try to make it more interactive and more of bullet points of things that I know from my own experience that a real estate professional from time to time will either have already encountered in the past, like you, Charlie, who's been around a long time, but a younger real estate group. I try to make sure that they know how to tap into some of the services that they may encounter, and just not having the time to have a network of resources or contractors already lined up to take care of those things.
So, Dustin, we were talking off air. What I know you just mentioned dry vent, but what are some of the other main sources of fire?
Electrical is a big source. So just different types of cords, people putting things on top of their stovetop and leaving it, and walking away and someone accidentally turning it on. Grease fires. When you get to people in their deep fried turkeys at Thanksgiving, doing that too close to the home.
Yeah.
Those types of things are just different things that, either aren't wise decisions or people just don't associate it.
Well, you're cooking your turkey and drinking the eggnog at the same time. And sometimes you...
I would never recommend deep frying a turkey inside the home.
Really? Well, no, I guess not. I guess that's probably a good idea. Gotcha. One of the things as a realtor that we get when we sell a house, and I can tell you what an inspector is going to say about certain things, and have never see the report. There are certain things that's always there, like I don't know if this is a source. Oversized breakers. People always like to put oversized breakers in there.
There can be that too. Some people, home electricians too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a reason electricians do things by codes. Sometimes you'd be surprised at the type of wiring you can find.
Oh, I've been in homes where there is still knob and tube wiring in there, and some old homes, but I'm sure that's dangerous.
Yes, and also plumbing and electrical don't mix very well if you don't know what you're doing.
No. And I wouldn't think so. So you guys were again, we were talking off air a little bit. Got away from the mic there. When there's a real emergency, I know I'm skipping around here, but I'm just trying to get these questions in. You kind of prioritize certain businesses, or I don't guess they're necessarily businesses, but like schools, government offices. You want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so different things like schools, obviously hospitals, any type of at-risk population, nursing home, assisted living, any of those types of populations where you can affect large quantities of people, those really do get priority. So you can make sure that you're getting people back safely to where they have an environment to live in. So yes, those types of I guess areas or different residences or facilities, those get priority over obviously we still have teams to get to the other. But, if we can affect a large population at once, we want to make sure that we're helping as many people as possible in as short a span as possible.
Well, yeah, it's, I don't know why I didn't think of it, but it makes sense that you would prioritize hospitals and in the at-risk people, like hospitals, nursing homes, things like that. They can't, in many cases, basically we're saying people that can't help themselves in many cases.
Yes, correct.
So, both of you were talking, and this is the both of you, whoever wants to talk about it. Hoarding situations. Now, we all have got those stories, and I actually was in a home. I won't say where it's at. I'll act like Candace is here, and, I won't.
The less details, the better. Just get to the meat of it, right?
Okay. So, and you guys have seen these, I'm sure, where there was a path through the home. I don't know where this one in particular, I don't know why this one stands out. There's others like it. But I don't know what bed they slept on because all the beds were stacked up. They obviously didn't do any cooking because everything was stacked on top of the stove too. I've seen guys get rid of all that stuff and things like that. But what do you do there? You don't know what you're going to get into there.
That is an area where ServPro is just set up and structured to do pretty well. So I've had several real estate calls over the last year, Charlie, for that situation specifically. So, it can start a lot of different ways, but typically they need some labor resources to initially go through and physically pack out the contents that are in there, provide a separation. So here in Evansville, we have a nice facility out on the north side where we can literally bring back contents that are salvageable and be able to clean them and store them for a period of time until those contents find their next home. And then being able to provide a full-on deep cleaning of that facility regardless of what we find there. In a hoarding situation, as you know, things can be pretty dicey. A lot of times there can be some very unpleasant odors. There could be some feces. There could be no telling what you might find. But ServPro would be in a position to really take care of any of those kind of circumstances, do the deep clean, and then ultimately get the house ready to be listed in an open house to be scheduled.
So, and also, Bobby, it sounds like there's going to be a ServPro yard sale too.
So you don't claim it in time, it's fair game. Right?
Yeah. What do you do if they don't claim it? What do you do with it?
We do store stuff for quite a period of time sometimes.
I think 90 days is a law in Indiana, I believe.
Well, we go past that quite a bit. Obviously, there is a charge for storing things, so. But
so if they don't come back and you got some nice stuff, let's say, like the John Deere Rider, I was telling my story there.
Those things typically don't go unclaimed on our end. They'll end up getting claimed,
right,
for that type of thing. Another thing to deal with on the hoarder situation too is normally, if someone's still living there, normally you have to also be sensitive because it is some type of a mental or psychological block normally. So you have to make sure that you're being sensitive to that also. As you're going through and you're going through their contents and everything, it's a real emotional situation for that person. So a lot of times it's communication with them or the family or whatever you need to make sure that you can deal with it appropriately, to make sure that they're comfortable while you're doing it also.
Well, and, in many cases, it's someone, in your life you would never suspect it of, because I can speak this personally. My mom had dementia, and I knew she was starting to forget stuff and things, and my wife said, we need to do something. I said, I'm going to let her. She went, my dad had been passed away for years, going to leave her on her own as long as I could. But I noticed those last year or two, she would, I'd go over there. She lived in Southern Illinois, and she didn't want me to come in the house. And when we'd go out to eat or I'd take her shopping, whatever. And once she wound up going, first I had to go to the hospital before the nursing home, but there was stuff everywhere. And
unfortunately, sometimes those are some of the telltale signs, and people do change. I mean, as far as when they get a little older, sometimes with dementia or different things, you're right, that does affect sometimes the condition of the home or things like that.
And think of it, because like in my mom's case, I'm sure there's a lot of those stories. They always kept a spotless house.
Yes. And some of the homes from the outside, you would never know.
Yeah, from the outside, it was great still. Yeah, but guys, I'm looking at our list here. Bobby says we got about a little less than 3 minutes to go. Dustin, what's some things that you want to cover again?
Just preparedness for, I guess for. Winter months or things like that, just making sure that people are doing things. We always try to remind during that time of year, things such as disconnecting your outside hoses to make sure you're protecting your pipes out there, making sure that you're dripping your faucets, and then making sure that you're opening cabinetry doors that plumbing could be in, so air is circulating in there. So, you're at less of a risk for some type of a water loss or things like that.
One thing, and again, Bobby, you had two good ideas here today. In 8 years, first time in 8 years you've ever done.
I got a
this.
good night's sleep last night.
You must have.
That's the difference.
But you guys are known for, working with insurance companies and real estate agents, as Fred's been talking about this. What about when an individual needs something?
We can do that also. We provide estimates. We walk them through the process of what it is, a detailed explanation of what the services include. They can ask questions. We can customize and tailor it to what their needs are. So in general, communicate with the homeowner or whoever the customer may be themselves. Yes, we deal with real estate agents and insurance companies. Those are a lot of it, but we deal with individuals too and can tailor services for whatever their needs are.
I think your question was like your basement carpet, Bobby.
Yeah, if I just need something cleaned or I have a spill, should I contact my insurance agent first and they'll contact you? Should I just reach out to you guys first and start at your website? Is that the best place to go or what?
There's 800 ServPro. There's our local offices. We have offices and for ServPro East Evansville downtown, ServPro of Warwick, Spencer, Du Bois, and ServPro of Henderson, Webster, Union, McLean, and Crittenden over on the Kentucky side too. So you can start there. And typically we can start emergency services to, mitigate or lessen the effects of whatever the disaster is, and then pick that up with the insurance company to make sure that everything's taken care of.
Okay. All right. We're not getting close to the end. How many minutes do we have once you take the us out?
No, we're out of time.
Even with the us, we're out of time.
It's time to wrap it up, Charlie.
Okay, Bobby. All right, Bobby. Bobby's had two good ideas. Now he thinks he's king here.
I'm ready for a nap now.
Okay. Fred, how can they get a hold of you?
People in the local area can call me on my cell phone number, 812-550-7016.
Dustin?
They can contact any of the three franchises that I mentioned or call me at 270-860-8044.
All right. And Charlie Butler and the Charlie Butler team, you can contact me directly at 812-499-7758. I won't come out and and clean your carpet. I'll call ServPro. Okay, that's that. Or you can contact my team at 812-430-1708. So for Fred Emory, Dustin Chaney, again, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
The following program is paid for by the Charlie Butler team. This program has been paid for by the Charlie Butler team. From the Kate Foppel Ford Studios, this is News Talk 1280 WGBF.